you lacks batteries.
Arbulary batteries.
That's nothing like what I just said.
Hello, this is Ken. I like making things. I like making things out of paper, and I like making things cooler. Especially my figures. Sometimes figures don't look all that screen accurate. All they need is a bit of touch up here and there to unleash their hidden potential. I also love using everyday tools and materials to recreate iconic scenes from my figures, so they can shine on my display. Subscribe to my channel and join my DIY adventure as I ask myself the same question every week. Can I make it? Last week, I worked on the 2 Star-Lord figures from the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. They were interesting. Check it out if you haven't already. And today, I'm gonna work on another Volume 2 figure, Drax the Destroyer. Okay, this isn't a Marvel Legends figure. How dare I? The reason why I got this Marvel Select Drax is because I don't love how the Marvel Legends Drax looks. There's just something off about it. Like it looks too segmented and kinda looks like a generic action figure. This Marvel Select one captures the likeness much better in my opinion. Marvel Select figures are generally taller than Marvel Legends, but Drax is a large green alien, and I feel like the Marvel Legends one didn't capture the mass right. And it came with Baby Groot too. This figure is tiny, but surprisingly detailed. What blows my mind is that the arms, legs, and feet are posable. Okay, they can only move within a very limited range, but the joints are surprisingly nice and tight. I love this Baby Groot figure. He's so cute. It's so hard to resist Baby Groot. Let's deconstruct this figure. There's an FAQ on the paint and brushes I use in the description box below. They totally captured Drax's silhouette, and I appreciate what they did to the hips. They didn't use regular ball joints in order to not break the illusion and break up the pants into obvious segments. Something I don't love on Marvel Legends. Another great thing about the figure is the paint job. Look at those details on the tattoos. I am very impressed. The only issue I have is that the skin color is too minty. Drax is technically green, but his MCU counterpart is pretty much dark gray since Volume 2. The face is okay. The lips are a touch too dark. Otherwise, I think they did a pretty good job capturing the likeness. The one thing that really bums me out is that the sheaths on his boots aren't actually functional. There are no actual slots for his knives. Boo. Overall, this Drax figure looks great. Slight adjustment to his skin color should elevate this figure even more. So, can I make it? Let's start with the skin color. My plan is to apply a sheer thin coat of grey over the figure to desaturate the green and the red. But I'm not going to use pure grey. I want more of a brownish grey. And I should be able to achieve that color by mixing this very dark brown with blue. And I'm going to mix in some matte medium to thin out the paint. I normally wet my brush if I'm doing thin layers, but because I'm applying this over the entire upper body, I need to have as much control as possible. Thinning out the paint with water works great for small, smooth areas. But it may not work well here because of all the bumpy textures on the tattoos. The paint may just stick to the ridges and I'll end up with dark outlines around the tattoos. Using a matte medium should give me more control on the application. The medium isn't runny. I can push the paint around and evenly coat the surface more effectively with it. I haven't used the matte medium enough to know the proper ratio, so I'm just kinda winging it. All I know is that the brown will dry sheer or translucent. So the skin color should turn grayish due to the brown color dulling down the green. The tattoos will also look like they're embedded under the skin too. This doesn't look right, but I think it's because the original skin color is too bright, and my eyes have gotten used to it. But I'm gonna trust the process. Please work, please work, please work, please work. Oh wow, this is definitely a look. Normally, I always pop the head off when I work on the figures. But not today, because something happened. You'll see in a bit. Oh, okay, now that most of the figure is painted, it is starting to look more natural. Phew, I didn't ruin the figure. and the lips don't stick out anymore now that the skin color is darker. This figure came with 3 extra hands, a slightly relaxed open hand, and a pair of fists. The figure still looks too green or warm. Let me cool it down a bit more with the blue. I'm gonna use this as a shading color. This will emphasize his muscles too. Acrylic paint tends to dry darker or less vibrant, so it should look less odd in a bit. Okay, I'm starting to question all my decisions. The blue is a bit too vibrant. It doesn't look too natural. I should have mixed in a bit of dark brown into it. But it's too late now. Let me finish applying the blue first. Drax looks radioactive. The blue is glowing on his body. Let me tone it down with a bit more brown. Uh-oh, it's turning too dark now. Let me see if I can fix it. I went over the entire figure with a lighter color, but that covered up the tattoos too. So let me fix that as well. I'm only gonna go over some of his tattoos. Tattoos fade over time. I don't want Drax's tattoo to look fresh or painted on. I want them to look like they've been on his body for years, where some of the finer tattoos faded over time. Ooh, the tattoos look more 3-dimensional now. Nice. The upper body is starting to look really good. I'm gonna add a little bit of red around his eyes. Alright, onto the lower body. The pants are great. The color appears to be the right shade of blue. I just want to desaturate it a tiny bit to match the skin. First, I'm gonna apply a thin layer of blue over the pants to mattify the texture and to have a base layer to work with. Then, I'm gonna use the dark brown again to dull down the blue and add a bit of shading. This video is pretty much just me using the same 2 colors over and over again. Oh, I just noticed the missing paint on the straps on his thighs. Let me add them back in. I'm also applying a thin layer of black on the silver bits on his belt to weather the silver a bit, so it doesn't look too squeaky clean. And just a bit of touch up to bring out the details. On to Baby Groot. There really isn't much I need to do. The figure looks great. But I want to do something for Baby Groot. Oh, I know. Baby Groot played a huge role in Volume 2. He was the one who placed the bomb inside Ego's brain, and ultimately the one who killed Ego. So I want to make that detonator. I'm gonna build the main body of the detonator with this piece of scrap board I used for Namor's throne. The detonator appears to be a bunch of scrap metal held together by tape and wires. So I'm going to replicate that by painting it silver and using actual duct tape. It kinda looks like a brick. Let me add the other details. Be right back. Alright, I added the buttons and the joysticks and the timer. The buttons are just pieces of paper stacked together. The joysticks are made out of toothpicks and clay. And the timer is just a small piece of cardboard. I'm gonna paint into 2 red circles for the 2 buttons. And in order to make them look more 3D, I'm gonna dab a dot of UV resin on them and cure them to achieve that circular button look. Oh, the bomb has these 2 Anilax batteries. They are translucent and shaped like peanuts, so I'm gonna use hot glue to recreate them. It's a little hard to control hot glue, so I'm gonna make a bunch of them and pick the 2 that looks the best. And I'm gonna attach them onto the device using UV resin again. And to make them have this yellow glow, I'm gonna paint a thin layer of light yellow on them. Ta-da! It is done. I added some feathering and also added the timer off camera. It looks pretty detailed for a tiny prop like this. Alright, here's the finished figure. Oh wow, the body looks so much more natural and 3-dimensional. The blue shading is still there, but it's not as much of a distraction anymore. I think I captured Drax's skin color pretty well. It's like a grayish green now. Let's take a closer look. I really like how the tattoos turned out. They don't look slapped on like the original. They actually look like they're part of his body. And the face looks like Dave Bautista too. Speaking of the face, the neck joint totally snapped and broke on me when I tried to remove the head. Luckily, a small piece of sticky tack saved the day, but that was disappointing. Here's Baby Groot. Oh, it's way too small to see the differences. The differences are minor. I pretty much just added a bit of highlight and shadow to it. It was a pretty good figure to begin with. Normally, I think Marvel Select figures look a bit off, but I have to say, this Drax figure looks superb. Not only did they capture Dave Bautista's physique, they also captured his likeness too. This looks so much better than the Marvel Legends version. But to give Marvel Legends credit, Marvel Legends figures generally have pretty decent range of motion. This Drax has very limited posability, especially the arms. Those elbows don't bend at all. Another thing that confuses me is that it came with two fisted left hands. That means this Drax can only hold one knife. It doesn't help that the sheaths are fake, so that's also a bummer. But visually, it just looks so good. Too good. It's probably one of the best looking MCU figures. And here's Baby Groot. He is so tiny, and the Detonator is a perfect prop for him. I don't have the Marvel Legends version of Baby Groot, so I'm unsure if this one is better, but I do appreciate that his head, arms, and legs are posable. He doesn't have the best range of motion, but it's good enough for me. Just look at him. Oh, so adorable. Okay, I know Drax looks a bit too tall next to Peter Quill, but this trio does look very cool. Alright, let's end this with a photo shoot, starting with Drax. You can't deny that this looks just like Drax from the movie. And another great thing about this figure is that his neutral pose looks very good. He stands like an actual person and doesn't have that action figure feel to it. You know what I mean. These poses look so relaxed and believable. Whoever sculpted this figure deserves a raise. The raised tattoos look amazing. The muscle definition is great, and they captured Drax's face very well. The same goes for Baby Groot too. It is so detailed even though this figure is super tiny. I wasn't expecting him to be posable at all, especially the arms and the legs. He just looks so cute no matter what he's doing. It's quite a challenge to have such a small figure interact with normal sized ones. That's why I made the Detonator, so Baby Groot has something to interact with. That said, with a bit of patience, I can actually place Baby Groot on Drax's shoulder, and my heart melts. This is such a cool pairing. The juxtaposition of Drax's seriousness and Baby Groot's smile makes these two such a wonderful pairing. Aww, look at them, so sweet. Alright, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm gonna be working on the Volume 3 figures next, so stay tuned. Give this video a like and subscribe to my channel to see me DIY more fun things. Stay inspired and I'll see you next week. I can make it, so can you.